I'm once again here with you to continue our discussion on the topic of marginal costing. In the previous lecture of mine, I told you about the basics of marginal costing, and at the very beginning we were talking about what is marginal costing, what are the assumptions of marginal costing. We also had a discussion on profit volume ratio. And when I was telling you about the profit volume ratio, we talked about CVP analysis, that is cost, volume and profit analysis, that if we are making change into the volume, what kind of impact it is causing in your cost and your profitability. So volume, what kind of impact volume has in terms of your cost and in terms of your profitability. That is what we were discussing in the previous lecture. I also told you about how to what are the different ways to calculate profit volume ratio. Now the question comes, what are the advantages of PV ratio? Today I'll tell you how to apply that PV ratio, the way it has to be applied in computation of, say, break even point, say margin of safety, and different other purposes. So that is what will be our point of discussion this point onwards. So we'll talk about the break-even analysis, we'll talk about the advantages of profit volume ratio, and eventually we'll solve certain numericals also. Now let's start our lecture of today with advantage of profit volume ratio, what we also call as contribution to sales ratio. The first and the foremost advantage of profit volume ratio is that it is very much useful in calculating break-even point. What is break-even point, and the way we calculate that I'll be telling you in due course of my lecture today. But it is actually useful, for here I would say it is useful in calculating break-even point. Now what is break-even point? In nutshell, it is basically a point of no profit and no loss. It is the point where the firm says that we are all set to break the evenness. So we are all set to break the evenness of our business operations. We may now increase our profitability. We may now escalate our operations towards making profitability. So it is a point of no profit, no loss. And if I know that this is the minimum output, this is the minimum sales which I have to record to become profitable, to emerge as a profitable enterprise, it is quite easy for me to decide my sales target, to decide what should be the minimum sales quantum, what should be the sales quantity, to ensure that I make a minimum amount of profit in short run. So this profit volume ratio, actually it plays a very vital role in computing break-even point. We can calculate break-even point with the help of profit volume ratio. There is a formula for it which I'll be telling you in due course of our lecture today. Next is, it is actually the indicator of profitability. This profit volume ratio or contribution to sales ratio, it acts as an indicator to of your profitability. When I say, having said that it is an indicator of profitability, let me explain the way it is done. If I say contribution to sales ratio is, say, 40%, it means 60% of my total sales goes to variable cost. The moment I say that 40% is my contribution to sales ratio, or what or interchangeably I am saying it is profit volume ratio, it means that we may draw an inference that 60% of the total sales or total revenue goes to variable cost. Now remaining 40% is will be contributing to the two important components. First will be the fixed cost and the second will be the profit. After recouping the fixed cost, if something is in residue, something is left in balance, that is nothing but your profit. So this 40% of contribution to sales ratio is a great indicator of profitability. And suppose if we are sure, because total fixed cost is fixed cost is fixed in total, amount of fixed cost is fixed. So we can with the increased quantum of sales, obviously since 40% a given proportion of sales will contribute to the contribution, and having our fixed cost fixed in total, we can obviously increase our profitability. So if a firm is willing to maximize its profit, which is also one of the goals of any business enterprise, that you have to maximize your profit. So here comes the role of profit volume ratio. Profit volume ratio increases the chances of you to be profitable. You can make use of this information and maximize your profit, because it is an indicator, and once you know that this is actually 40% of my sales is my contribution, so I may work on that. I may work upon that, and I may compare the amount of contribution with the fixed cost, and may go for increasing my sales also. So it is, profit volume ratio is also acting as an indicator of profitability, and that is why we say it is contribution to sales ratio, and PV ratio is always used for computing not only break even point but also for margin of safety. Now there is a question that what is margin of safety? The term itself is suffice to understand. It is actually self-explanatory kind of term. It is explaining its nature itself, margin of safety. So safety along with the margin. What is the margin of safety? Whether I am standing on the edge or I am in between, that is something which is depicted or represented by margin of safety. Your distance from the break-even sales, your distance between your actual sales and break-even sales is known as margin of safety. So greater the distance we maintain, better it is for our business enterprise, cause any marginal change or any insignificant change in sales or decline in sales volume is not going to eliminate your profitability. Suppose if I am saying that break even point is 10,000 units and you have produced, say you are producing right now 10,500 units. So an immediate decline of 500 units of your sales will actually push you back to the situation of no profit no loss from a point of profitability. So when I am at 10,500 units, I am a profitable entity, but the moment there is a reduction in the sales by 500 units, this decline will push me back to the point of break even. So we have to understand that this distance need to be wider, and that is what is the motive of management accountant in computing or in knowing, in calculating the margin of safety. So it is the first and the foremost motto of management accountant while doing this marginal costing or using this technique for their managerial decisions. They always make it a point that there has to be a wider gap between the actual sales and break-even sales. So they talk about the margin of safety, which I'll be telling you how to calculate. But as of now, I would say this, for computing this margin of safety, this profit volume ratio is used, and that is why we are saying that if we talk about the advantages or applications of profit volume ratio, it is another application in the series that it is used for calculating margin of safety. So to conclude, I would say margin of safety is basically what? It is the difference between your present sales and the break-even sales. It is an indicator of your margin of safety, how safe you are, to what extent you are safe. So if you are saying that your actual sales is 10,500 units and your break-even sales is 10,000 units, so your margin of safety is 500 units. So this 500 units are actually acting as a margin of safety, and it means the moment you come to know that it is 500 only, you will try to increase your present sales, because you have to widen the gap between the actual sales and marginal sales. So margin of safety must be on the higher side. Next benefit or next advantage of PV ratio is that you can also compute requisite quantity or amount of sales to maintain a given level of profit. Suppose your target is to maintain or to derive a stipulated amount of profit. You say for instance you want to make a profit of say 10 crores. So how much should be your sales? That is something which if you can decide, it is quite easy for you to disseminate, to circulate this information among the sales team. That see, we have to make a profit of 10 crores, but obviously that is something which we are not going to disclose to our sales people, that we are having a target of making a profit of 10 crores. Rather we would say that we want this much of unit to be sold out this year, because our target is to make a profit of this much. So the second part of our objective is known to us only, and only the relevant information is disseminated to your staff, to your sales people, that this is the sales to maintain a given level of profit. So here comes the role of profit volume ratio. With the help of profit volume ratio, you can also find out units or amount of sales to retrieve that profit. I'll show you the numerically also the way we apply, and then later on we justify that whatever sales we are actually proposing to maintain a given level of profit, whether that sale is going to give me that the same amount of profit or not. So we, after computing margin of safety, what we do, after computing the requisite sales to maintain a given level of profit, what we do, we justify the entire solution. Whatever computation you have made, we justify. So this is another advantage of PV ratio, that you can find out a requisite quantum or amount of sales to maintain a given level of profit. Now I'll tell you in detail about the break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is quite a useful technique. Graphically also you can identify the way we calculate, the way we compute, the way we plot break-even point. So on x-axis in diagram you can see, on x-axis we are showing units sold, and on y-axis we are actually showing the revenue. And when I say revenue, it is actually on y-axis we are showing both cost and revenue. And as you all know that a revenue curve starts from 0. If there is a 0 sales, your revenue is 0, and it increases with in direct proportion to the increase in sales. If your sales is increasing, obviously your revenue is increasing. If units are increasing, your sales is bound to increase. That is why if you look at the revenue curve, it is starting from the very beginning of the corner of x and y axis. If you look at the 90-degree angle, you find that revenue curve starts from there. And since it changes in direct proportion to the unit sold, it is having a curve like your marginal cost curve, or what you say as supply curve. Because with every increase in quantum, your quantum of sales, your revenue is actually increasing. Whereas another curve which is known as cost curve. When I say cost curve, I am indicating towards the total cost curve. Now total cost comprises of fixed as well as variable cost as far as marginal costing is concerned. Why so? Because if you recall, in the very first lecture of marginal costing, I told you about the assumption of marginal costing. What is that assumption? That cost can be classified into two segments. One is the fixed cost, another is variable cost. So based on that classification, if we have to draw total cost curve, remember total cost curve will have reflection of two types of cost. One is fixed, another is variable. And as we all know that total fixed cost is actually constant, is not going to change, and so it is perfectly inelastic, and if you draw that, it is parallel to x-axis. There is no change into the total amount of fixed cost with any change in units sold. So total fixed cost, which is here invisible into this diagram, we are not showing it here. So total fixed cost curve, if we have to total cost curve, if I have to draw, the shape and design of total cost curve will depend upon the shape and direction of your variable cost. So variable cost, as we know, per unit it is constant, and with every increase in your production, your cost is going to increase in the direct proportion. So if I have to draw the total cost curve, it will never start from that point at which your revenue curve is starting or beginning. It will have actually a base, and that base will actually be your total fixed cost curve. So above that, your total cost curve will start. So if I have to show the total cost curve, above the fixed cost will be drawing the total cost curve, and it is also having the tendency of increasing, cause obviously with every increase in production your variable cost changes. So after drawing the total cost and total revenue curve, we find a point of intersection. If you start looking at the diagram, on the lower side, initially on the lower side you are finding the revenue, and on the upper side you are finding the cost. That indicates that cost is superseding the amount of revenue. Cost is greater than the amount of revenue. So initially when you are starting your selling your units, your cost is increasing with the same speed, but the speed of revenue is not the same. So initial portion of your intersection point, before intersection, if you find the term which is written here, the word which is written here is loss. That is the point of loss. And here we come to the point of intersection, where the total revenue and total cost curve, they are intersecting each other, and that point is nothing but your point of break even, and it is indicated by the arrow. We are calling it break even point. Now above this point, if you are increasing, if you are somehow able to increase your sales or your production, then obviously you will actually escalate towards the zone of profitability. So from the segment or from the zone of loss to the zone of profitability, we are traveling here into this break even analysis. So at the point of break even, you are not neither making profit nor any loss, but above that, whatever increment you are witnessing or recording into your sales, that will increase your profitability. So this is the way we have to, suppose if in your examination we ask you to show the point of break even graphically, this is the way you have to show. You are showing total revenue curve, total cost curve, and the point of intersection of TR and TC is known as point of break even point. Having said point of intersection, I mean to indicate that it is the point where the total revenue is exactly equal to total cost, and that is why it is point of no profit, no loss. Above that, whatever you are doing, that will actually increase your profitability. Now, if we talk about the shadow effect of your cost curve, above fixed cost, whatever area you are finding, that is indicated by variable cost, and fixed cost, obviously it is parallel to x-axis, that is there. So you can identify that the total cost curve comprises of fixed and variable, both types of cost, and that is what was our assumption into marginal costing. We make an assumption that cost can be classified into two parts, one is the fixed, another is variable. Now suppose I have to show the computation of break even point along with the margin of safety. So let me show you, on x-axis we will be showing again cost and revenue, on y-axis we will be showing the, on x-axis we will be showing the units, on y-axis we will be showing cost and revenue. And if you look, again I am drawing here the total revenue curve and total cost curve. Total revenue curve is here, and this is the total cost curve. Point of intersection is known as break even point, what I have explained you just before. And here in this diagram I have tried to show you the fixed cost also. I have drawn that line of fixed cost, which indicates that out of your total cost, this proportion below that line, whatever area you are finding, that depicts about the total fixed cost, and between the total cost and total fixed cost, that is TC minus FC, is actually your variable cost, which we also call as marginal cost. Now my point here, my objective of drawing this diagram here is just to show you the margin of safety. So above break even point, if you look at the upper right side of this diagram, and you find a 90-degree angle here, and that area is depicting about the margin of safety. So above break even point, whatever area you are finding, that is actually your break even, that is actually your margin of safety. So distance between your actual sales, difference between your actual sales and break even sales is known as margin of safety. And in this diagram we have tried to show you graphically that the way we plot, the way we identify the margin of safety. So in this way you have understood graphically how to go for computing margin of safety, and how to go for plotting margin of safety and break even point graphically. Now I'll tell you numerically, because as a person from management accounting, we need to understand the way we calculate break even point. Usually if somebody is asking you what is break even point, a very obvious kind of answer in single line comes to us, and that is, sir, it is a point of no profit, no loss. Whenever we are asking this question to our students, that what is break even point, you say, sir, it is a point of no profit, no loss. So if I try to draw inference out of this statement, that what is point of no profit, no loss, is this a point of normal profit? Yes, it is a point of normal profit. But that is not our point of discussion here, because we are not dealing with the economics, we are dealing with the accounting aspect of break even point. So I would confine myself to that discussion only, that it is a point of no profit, no loss. Had I been taking up the issue of economics, marginal costing from the economist point of view, I could have gone for explaining you the point of normal profit, what you must have studied if you are a student of say undergraduate level or postgraduate level, and you have studied economics, equilibrium point. There we talk about in perfect competition in short run, there is a situation of normal profit, which we call as point of no profit, no loss, because that normal profit which is needed for surviving into that business, for staying relevant in the market, you have to maintain a requisite quantum of a minimum quantity of profit, which is part of cost, which is added into the economist cost by the economist. But here I would say that it is regarded as a point of no profit, no loss, which means your total revenue is exactly equal to total cost. So TR is equal to TC, that is total revenue, is equal to total cost. Now when we talk about break-even point, there are two ways of taking it up. One is in its broader sense, another is in a narrower sense. In its broader sense, if I tell you about break-even analysis, I would say that this analysis is actually used to determine or to find out the probable profit loss at any given level of production. So broadly speaking, our objective is to determine the probability of profit or loss, or you can say the possibility of profit and loss or loss at any given level of production. Suppose you are given a level of production of say 10,000 units, and on 10,000 units you wish to know what will be my quantum of profit. So here comes the role of break-even point. Above break-even point, suppose your break-even sales is 5,000 units, so another 5,000 out of your 10,000 sales is going to provide you the profit. So you can determine the probability of profit or loss at any given level of production by using this break-even analysis. So in broader sense, if somebody is asking you what is the use of a break-even point, you can say that it is actually used to determine the probable profit or loss for any given level of production. But if I go for talking about in a narrower sense, I would say that it can also be useful in determining sales to earn desired amount of profit. I want a desired profit. For that also I can do the calculation. I can calculate break-even point. Now I'll tell you how to go for computing break-even point numerically, practically, in terms of our management accounting. Whenever in examination question we are asking you to calculate break-even point, a very basic or pertinent question comes in front of you. So whether you mean to calculate break-even point in terms of units or in terms of rupee. My dear students, if question is silent, you will have to compute break-even point in both the terms, not only in terms of units but also in terms of rupee. So I'll tell you that there are two sets of formula for computing break-even point. In one of the formula we are using profit volume ratio. In another we don't use profit volume ratio. Rather we take contribution, but in a different way. So let us first have a look at the formula for break-even point in terms of units. Formula is very simple: fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. When I am writing CPU, it doesn't mean central processing unit. It is actually contribution per unit. Fixed cost divided by CPU. I'll tell you how to recall this formula, or you should understand that why fixed cost is becoming a numerator. Fixed cost is actually my numerator here because it is the value, it is the amount which I need at the very outset. So when I have to calculate break-even point in terms of units, I would say it is fixed cost divided by CPU. So in all calculations of break-even point, always remember that fixed cost shall remain your numerator. Now denominator shall change according to the type of computation you are into. If you are calculating break-even point in terms of units, you will have to divide it by contribution per unit. Now how do we calculate contribution per unit? Selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So we take, suppose selling price per unit is 10 rupees and variable cost per unit is 7 rupees. So 3 rupees is your contribution per unit. Since we are dividing fixed cost by contribution per unit, your answer will come in terms of unit. And always remember, you have to never forget to write units after the value which you have computed from this formula. But suppose if I have to calculate break-even point in terms of rupee, very simple, it is fixed cost divided by PV ratio. Fixed cost, numerator remains the same. The only difference is that we are dividing it by PV ratio, that is profit volume ratio, and resultant value shall always be in terms of rupee. So now I have given you both the formula. In the next lecture, I will be telling you how to apply this formula, how to calculate break-even point in terms of rupees, in terms of units, and also margin of safety. I hope you must have understood this concept of break-even point graphically and in terms of numerical values. I hope you must have enjoyed this lecture of mine today. Thank you so much.